Will the jailing of crime family matriarch Judy Moran mark the final chapter in Melbourne's gangland war? Moran's in jail tonight after a Victorian Supreme Court jury found the 66-year-old guilty of ordering the murder of her brother-in-law, Des Moran. Her conviction could be the culmination of the criminal turf battle involving her sons, Mark and Jason Moran, and the drug-dealing murderer, Carl Williams. Mary Gearan reports.
I've got a search warrant to search these premises. Okay, the warrant's in relation to the murder of Des Moran, which took place today.
One late night, 2 years ago, the Moran matriarch sits quietly as police search her house.
And a 9mm black handgun appears to be loaded.
The investigators find inside a safe a number of weapons, one they will contend was used to murder her brother-in-law just hours before.
It feels to be loaded.
Aduna is her comfort as she pleads ignorance.
There's a safe in the wall. Do you know anything about that safe? Have you seen that safe before?
Even as the 66-year-old protests her innocence, the case against her is being woven together. The case to say she ordered the murder of Des, or Tuppence Moran, shot dead inside one of his favourite cafes in inner suburban Melbourne.
I heard 3 shots in succession, bang, bang, bang.
Obviously, word spread very fast as to who it was.
Even for the infamous Moran clan, this is a tawdry tale of missing millions, old grudges, and even bad disguises. It's only now we can show this vision of 2 men fleeing after the shooting, including one in a wig looking like the TV character Dickie Nee, according to one bystander. Witnesses also remember when Judy Moran visited the scene.
Some people at the scene said that when Judy arrived and started to cry and weep that she should have got 5 years for bad acting.
But no act, nor her plea of not guilty, convinced the jurors. It took them 6 days of deliberation, but in the end, Judy Moran has been found guilty of murder, rounding out a grubby family roll call. It was Judy Moran's 2 sons who escalated Melbourne's underworld bloodshed, starting a turf war with the now dead convicted murderer and drug trafficker, Carl Williams.
It was Jason and Mark who started the underworld war when Jason shot Carl Williams in 1999. Carl Williams then went on and just tried to wipe out the Morans. Her first husband, Les Cole, was killed up in Sydney. And then Lewis Moran and her 2 sons, Mark and Jason Moran. So she's had 4 people close to her murdered. She says she was the victim of ferocious domestic violence, which I certainly believe is true. And yet she was there at all the court dates and seemed basically to revel in it.
As the bodies of her 2 sons, 2 husbands, and their friends and enemies have fallen around her over the years, the Moran matriarch has remained staunch in her defence of her clan and disdain for their rivals.
Why don't you admit it?
Good hater would be the way you describe Judy.
Do you have anything to say about that?
But it would seem not good at covering her tracks. Although she said she was visiting the grave of her slain son Mark at the time the bullets were fired, the Crown said she drove the gunman Jeffrey R. Moore and his mate Michael Farrugia to and from the shooting and disposed of the evidence.
It is suggested that you asked or got Jeff R. Moore to execute Desmond Moran. Did you do so?
I certainly did not, and anyone that suggests it is despicable. I would have no reason in the world to want to harm Tuppy.
But a former family friend told the court Judy Moran probably believed her brother-in-law knew the whereabouts of millions of dollars Mrs Moran said were missing from business dealings involving her late husband Lewis.
Des felt he knew 3 places where Lewis had hidden his money, but when he went there, it was gone. Judy felt that Des was holding out on her, and that's where the falling out came from.
Crucial to the prosecutor's case was evidence from Michael Farrugia, the accused gunman's mate turned Crown witness, described in court as not the sharpest tool in the shed, but straight. Farrugia testified he was in the getaway car with Jeffrey R. Moore and that Judy Moran was driving, which she'd consistently denied.
Why should I lie about it? Put my family in danger? You think I'm that stupid? Judy told me to keep me mouth shut, otherwise I'll cop the same thing.
Judy Moran is now in prison and her once fearful clan is dead. In recent years, she portrayed herself as a survivor of a life of intimidation and murder, talking often in her garden shrine to her slain family.
Judy Moran lived the life of a grieving widow. She was paid up to $20,000 an interview by women's magazines. Her book was a bestseller and she made over $100,000, and she loved that sort of status. But that started to dry up.
But now, after decades of violence, along with losing her family, Judy Moran has lost her freedom.
Well, this chapter of Melbourne's underworld war is officially over. But the truth of the matter is this: the underworld will go underground for a while, and then another war will start, because there is so much money and so many egos.
Mary Gearan reporting from Melbourne.